This soap is just a border soap, and you can use any mold. I'm using a tall and skinny. Here's my recipe. Heat up your butters and your hard oils. Make sure lye water mixture. Add your olive oil. And I do it this way so that you cool down those butters and hard oils quicker. Add your castor oil. I'm soaping at 102 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm just adding my lye water. Now I'm adding my essential oils. The essential oils are balsam fir, lavandin, sweet orange, and lemon. And the sweet orange will discolor your soap a little yellow. Same with the lemon. Oh, that's where you get bubbles. So that's light trace. That's about where we want it, so I'm going to stick with that. Pour it inside the mold. Now I'm covering it up with press and seal. Set your oven to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Place it inside about 20 minutes and then turn your oven off and leave the light on. This is the next day after it fully set up. So you will need a log splitter, and you cut the bottom first, flip it over and do the top, and then do the two sides. You can use any mold, just make sure that you use the same mold that you did it with, because not all molds line up. They might be off a little bit. And mark where these pieces went back inside your mold so that everything lines up. Now place your pieces back in the mold where they went. And that's why it's important to mark your pieces. I tried a different tall and skinny mold, and my pieces did not fit. This was a different batch that I made, but the mold was just off a little bit. So make sure that you're using the same mold, and it doesn't matter what kind of mold you use. This is my recipe for the inside. What you need to do is measure the piece that you cut out, and that would be the height times the width times the length times 0.04. And that'll give you ounces, and just maybe add an extra ounce to ensure that you have enough. Now just mix your batch like you did before. And what I'm doing is just a drop swirl. I didn't subtract my fusions. I'm just going to add them, so I guess that would be added super fat. Since there's more oil to the lye ratio, I usually use 5%. This is paprika. This one's Alkanet root. It's just purple. This one is madder root. That one is wood. Again, I'm going to do more paprika, just a little bit darker. And then I'm going to leave 1 cup white. And I did over mix this a little bit. It's a little thicker trace than I wanted, but it still worked. So I'm just pouring from maybe 12 inches up and just alternating the colors until it's full. And you can see now that this is not as thin and it's kind of laying on the top, which you want it to drop down in there. That's why it's called a drop swirl. So next time I'll pour a little thinner trace. Now I'm just setting my top piece back on there. And a little bit did ooze out. Scrape it off and set it aside. The biggest thing is to make sure that this is all setting solid in there. I forced gel again, and now this is the next day, and this is the cut. If you notice, there's a little bit of soap sitting on the outside of these bars, so I'm just going to clean them up a little bit with a planer. Now I'm going to clean up the edges. And I'm just taking off a little tiny bit. There's just a little bit of a rounded tip on there. So this, I'm just doing a little bit slower. I was asked to. And I'm using some rubbing alcohol. And I'm spraying the stamp. I did make the stamp. Maybe in the future I'll make stamps and sell them. I just cut 2 pieces and glue them together. They seem to work. I have had a few break. And your soap, it stamps a lot better when you did force gel. So if you're having issues with your stamps not working, it might be a recipe or just not firm enough yet. And I'm taking the scrap pieces so I can fill in the stamp. I'm just making it soft. And depending on the stamp that you're using, you don't want to move it too much. And you could let these sit out for a day and then fill them in. It might work out a little bit better depending on the stamp that you're using. Scrape off the excess. Then I'm just going to plane it and clean it up. Just taking a tiny little bit off. Thanks for watching.